The Joe Rogan Experience.
But one of the things that you've realized and I've realized over the course of our friendship, I mean, Eddie's been my best friend since I think 2000. We started hanging out in 2000.
We met in 97.
It comes back to the story of the Twister.
Oh,
because
God.
this is how we became good friends. I was getting private lessons when I first started doing jiu-jitsu. I was a blue belt under this dude. I won't say his name. He's a very nice guy. But I'm going to say something negative. And because I was getting private lessons from him all the time, he was the only guy that I was rolling with. And I wasn't really learning nearly as much as I thought. I thought, like, if you're kickboxing, like you say, if you get a chance to work out with Rob Kamen, it's way better to work out with Rob Kamen one-on-one than it is to go to a private class. Like, he's going to correct all your technique. So I thought that would be the case with jiu-jitsu. Like, I would get really good going to class. It ain't like that. And Eddie was the first person to tell me. And Eddie came to one of the private lessons that I was having with Silvio, and we rolled around a little bit. And right away, he got me in a twister. And I had no idea what the fuck he's doing. All of a sudden, he hooks my knee with his left leg, and his left foot goes under his right knee, and he rolls forward under his left shoulder, and I'm spinning around like a top. And next thing you know, he's got my arm wrapped around his neck, and he's fucking pulling on my neck like this. I was like, what the fuck did you just do? Like, I had been doing jiu-jitsu for 2 years, and I had no idea what the fuck you just did to me. And I was like, God damn. And you're like, I'll teach you all this shit. I was like, dude, teach me this shit. And that's how we became friends. And that's also how I started smoking pot. You know, I was on the Mark Maron podcast the other day, and this came up. You know, I thought that marijuana and all that stuff was for losers. I thought that it just made you a loser. You're just going to become unmotivated. You're not going to get anything done. You're going to be a dummy and just sit and watch TV. That's not what I wanted, man. I wanted to make sure. We're like our friend Bud. We have a good friend, Bud, who's like super fucking go-getter. You know, Bud is a great guy. He's the one who put together the TV show to build that car, that Barracuda, and he's also the one who did my garage, like an MMA garage. He's always got like a bunch of different TV shows going on, and he's a fucking go-getter. And you and I are always like, dude, please just let us get you high. How many times? More than anybody.
More than Dr. Drew.
More than anybody. How many times have we been having this conversation with him? And he's always like, after I make my first million, then he makes his first million. Like, I'm not, I don't want to slow down now. Like, he just does not want to slow down. And we're like, it ain't about slowing down, man. It's not about, I'm not slowing down. I haven't slowed down at all. I work more now than I ever did before.
Same here, man.
Yeah.
I'm a busy motherfucker.
Isn't that an annoying goddamn stereotype that potheads are lazy? We get a lot of shit done, dude. I'm doing 2 podcasts a week. I'm writing a book. I'm writing my stand-up comedy. I'm performing stand-up comedy. And I'm doing stand-up. I'm doing the commentary for the #1 mixed martial arts organization in the fucking world. And I'm training jiu-jitsu. And I'm doing kettlebells. And I'm raising kids. And I play pool every night. And I got to surf the internet, and I got to beat off. There's a lot of shit going on, man. There's a lot of goddamn time. I'm not lazy at all. I squeeze it all out of every day. So when people say that potheads, you know, that it makes you lazy, it's just a stereotype, man. And that was a stereotype that I thought before I met you, man.
I do sleep till about 10:45 every day.
What? What time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed?
2 or 3.
Yeah, that's like 8 hours. That's what you're supposed to get, man. Most of these people are in bed at 10 o'clock at night. That's why when they get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're all impressed with themselves. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I slept till 1:30 in the afternoon. But where were you at 5 a.m.? I was writing the greatest bit I've ever written in my life, okay? That's why I write my best shit. I was in the fucking isolation tank traveling through the universe, all right? That's what I was doing while you were sleeping. So don't give me a hard time because my time is different than your time. Like somehow or another, you know, you're fucking doing yoga at 5 a.m., so you're the king. Fuck you, stupid.
And it's all based on farmers anyway.
Yeah, it is based on, you're right, it's based on farmers. You don't have to fucking get up early. That's nonsense. Sleep.
The crazy thing is that Joe and I, before we started smoking weed, we were totally against it. We would bag on stoners, and we thought it made you stupid. And I would talk so much shit on stoners that at 28, that's when I found out the truth. That's when I reaped the benefits of marijuana. And then when I met Joe, he was so funny. I thought, this guy's got to smoke pot. He's so funny. Like, I'd go see him, you know, do stand-up at the Comedy Store, and I'm like, that's that dude who trains at Jean-Jacques Machado's. He trains at my school. Hey, what's up, dude? I train at your school. And I was like, watch him do comedy, and I thought he was great. I go, he's got to smoke weed.
Eddie and I had a bunch of fortuitous meetings just out of the blue before we became friends. At one time, Eddie's eyes aren't so good, and one time we were at Mel's Diner, and it was late at night, man. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, yo, Eddie, yo, Eddie. And he's like, man, who's this motherfucker talking to me, man? I might have to fight this dude in front of my chick. Like,
oh, that's right.
You remember that?
Oh, my God, you remember that.
Yeah, you thought I was like some dude who's just fucking with you.
I had to throw down. I'm like, I thought you were, because I was with the chick, and I thought you were saying something to the chick.
You didn't hear what I was saying, and you can't see that good, so you couldn't see me from a distance. So by the time I came up to your table, you're like, who's this motherfucker? And then you go, oh, hey, dude.
I didn't watch news radio, and at that point, it was before Fear Factor, so I never watched news radio, and so I was like, okay, I hear he's an actor or something. Like, I barely remembered you. But then when I saw you at the Comedy Store.
That was by luck, too. You didn't come there with me. You just came there.
Yeah, I was just
we
at
weren't
the
even friends.
I would go see because right when I started smoking weed, I began to appreciate comedy way more because
it's way better.
All of a sudden, my mind figured out how to write comedy. Right when I started smoking weed. I never understood. I was fascinated with comedy, but I never understood how they put bits together. I didn't understand the setup. I didn't understand the structure of comedy. But as soon as I start smoking weed, I'm like, I know where they're doing. I know what they're doing now. They're doing this, and they're taking that, and then doing. So I understood the basic formula. So I just became fascinated. And then I saw you. And I'm like, that's that dude from my jiu-jitsu school. He's an actor. And you killed me. You were all nothing but dick jokes and like relationship jokes, chick jokes, dating jokes. But you were killing it. And then when you walked off stage, I'm like, hey, dude, what's up, dude? I go, you fucking were awesome. And then that's when he invited me to give him a private or something.
That's
that
when I met you when I was taking privates with that dude.
Yeah.
And then you came down to class, and then the pot smoking began. That was it. You ever see people that are in relationships that get mad at everything all day? Girls nitpick at guys, and the guy fucking fires back, and you go, wow, you guys are not handling this so well. And you guys are handling this kind of silly. You don't have to do this, you know? That's hard. It's hard to watch, man. Especially when people have kids, dude. That's when it gets hard, dude. That's when it gets hard. I got a friend who's got a kid, and him and his wife, they seem like they don't like each other. They seem like they're both upset at each other.
Do I know him?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
It's unfortunate, you know? It's like, God damn, you guys got this beautiful situation here. You should love each other. Come on, get it together. You know what? Neither one of them smoke weed. That might be a part of the problem. Right? I think everybody needs a little weed, man, a little perspective. Just a little perspective enhancer. You know, don't you think? When you smoke, don't you like smoking weed with your girl? Isn't that a nice thing?
Yeah, it's
the best thing, right? Yeah. It's like you chill together, you know, you hang out together. It feels better when you kiss each other, you know? It's like a super sensitivity drug, you know? It makes you super sensitive. Makes you really, really like that person, you know? All their good qualities get accentuated. You really appreciate them. Almost like you see them with new eyes.
Or you can get really paranoid.
You know, or you can freak the fuck out all the guys
or you
that
can call an
before
ambulance.
you.
I was watching.
And just hear phantom buzzes for guys texting her on her phone.
Oh man, I've had some serious anxiety attacks though.
I was watching Cops last night, and it was like,
Really?
Yeah, I've had at least 5. First
What's
one.
the biggest anxiety attack? Sorry to break your. Hold on to that thought, Brian. I want to hear these anxiety attacks.
Well, I never smoked pot growing up, but once a year. Sorry.
Brian, get in there.
no, I'm good.
Don't be scared, homie.
I have to get on stage.
Don't be scared, homie.
That's perfect, dude. It's early. It's only 8:20, man. This show doesn't start for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Get in there, son. Plus, we're gonna go get some food after this.
We gotta hurry. People are start getting here at 9.
Why are they getting here an hour and a half early?
Do the Chronicles.
Oh, who's coming at 9?
I just told everyone to come as close as 9 as possible.
Oh, okay. So they'll all be here around 10, like last time.
So in high school, I didn't smoke weed. Like I said, once a year at a party or something. And I would always get paranoid. Wasn't into it at all. I did not like smoking weed at all growing up. In 11th grade at lunch, there was a big stoner crowd. There was probably like 100 people in the stoner crowd. And everyone thought I was a stoner because I hung out in the stoner crowd. But if you look closely, I was like on the edge. I wasn't really in with those guys.
You didn't fit in, man.
Yeah, I wasn't really. It appeared I was, but I actually wasn't hanging out with them. It was just me and 3 other guys on the side. And one day I got pulled into the crowd, and they're passing around a joint. And I said, fuck it, I didn't want to be a douche. I was kind of like stoked that they pulled me in. Smoked a little bit of weed. It was at lunch. And I walked to my next class, and I sat down. Dude. I sat down. I was yeah, exactly. So it was history, and I'm sitting there. It was U.S. history, and I'm so fucked up out of my mind. I'm like, I freaked out. I was getting paranoid, so I thought, how am I going to get through this class? So I go, just look straight. Don't look at anybody. Just look straight. Don't do nothing. I go, oh my God, I'm freaking out, but I'm not. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. And then I look to the side, and there's people are looking back on. look at his eyes, My eyes got fucking, they said people were like turning around, pointing at my eyes, and I'm like, fuck, don't look at me, please, don't bring attention to me, please. Everyone's laughing, I'm like, fuck. And then some girl handed me her compact, she goes, look at your eyes. I looked at my eyes, and they were so red, it was fucking like a zombie's eyes.
Well, you have contacts. Did you have contacts?
No,
back
I
then?
didn't have contacts back then.
Did you have glasses, like black framed glasses?
Yes, I did wear glasses every now and then. But not to school, fuck no. But I looked at my eyes and I freaked out. I just stood up and walked out of class and went to the bathroom and I sat on the bathroom floor. Meanwhile, everyone's in class and I sat on the bathroom floor just freaking out, like just panicking, like I was on crack or something, just sitting on the bathroom floor. The teacher calls the campus cop. Total asshole, big ass mustache, total asshole. He opens the door.
Big ass mustache.
He opens
I like how you put those two together. Total asshole, big ass mustache.
I'll never forget him. He opens the bathroom door and I'm sitting down and he opens it and goes, what are you doing in here? And I immediately started crying. I'm like, oh, I'm sick. Like I pretended like I was sick and everybody had known that I was fucked up on weed because the teacher knew, everyone was laughing. I just walked out of class. He grabbed me by the neck, picked me up, and dragged me to the principal's office. And I'm like, I just started crying just pretending that I was sick. And he knew I wasn't sick, so he brought me to the principal's office. He had a toupee on. It was awesome. And he was really cool. He goes, what's wrong? I go, I'm sick. I ate a bad corn dog. I'm sick. And he goes, And the cop was like, he wasn't buying it at all, but the principal just looked at me and said, all right, let him go home. And he just let me go home, and I just walked home like all fucked up. I got home, just laid down on my bed, and I'll never forget looking at the VCR clock, just watching the minutes click by. I couldn't wait. It just seemed like it was going to last forever. Just watching the clock, please, feeling go away. I hate this feeling. I hated it.
Yeah, I only got high maybe a dozen times before I started getting high with you, over the course of my whole life. But one time I did when I was 15 with this girl that I dated. It was her idea, and my friend Josh. We all three of us got high together, and I was probably like 15, 14, maybe 14, 15, and I stole my dad's weed. He had some super strong weed, man. I mean, I was a little kid, right? And I don't know how we smoked it. I don't remember anything. But what I do remember is just lying on the couch, my whole body just tingling, like little electrical circuits are going off in my whole body. And then I was time traveling. I would be on my back on the couch, and then boom, I'd be in front of the refrigerator, and I had no recollection of how I got there.
Yep.
It was like instantly I appeared in front of the refrigerator, and then boom, I was in the bedroom, and I couldn't remember walking to the bedroom. It's like my short-term memory was so fucked that every few steps, my whole brain just rebooted, and I'm like, how did I get here? It erased all the steps up to get to that point. There was no memory. I mean, my brain was fucked. We were both fucked. We were giggling. But I was scared of weed after that for a while. I didn't do it again for a long time. That was a scary one.
Yeah, I hated it, man. I couldn't believe that people could function and smoke weed. I didn't get it. Guys in the bands that I was in growing up, there was always one stoner or two stoners, and every time I made a mistake playing bass, I would like blame the weed. I go, see, you come in here fucking stoned. That fucking weed just fucks your brain up. Just,
That's what I would do with Andy Dick on News Radio.
Really?
Yeah, he'd come in high and he wouldn't remember his lyrics. I'm like, the freak is high again.
Like you'd be all pissed off.
I was totally mad.
I was such a dick to stoners growing up.
Oh, me too.
I was a dick.
Well, you're addicted to people. I'm sorry. You're addicted to people that you're afraid of yourself being. I was afraid of being a stoner.
What's interesting about that fight was that was the first fight, that Brock Overeem fight a couple weeks ago. That was the first UFC that I've seen as a spectator in Vegas since 2003 or 2.
Oh, wow.
That was the first one. I was so wasted. I got so drunk. Everyone's buying me shots. Dudes from Toronto are buying me shots.
Yeah.
I'm like drinking Blue Moon beers all night. I blacked out at the end of the night, passed out in the hotel. I woke up. I knew Overeem won, but I didn't know exactly how he won. But I knew he won. I had no recollection of Nick Diaz, Donald Cerrone,
at all.
Really?
I didn't know how that went at all, man.
I saw a photo
drank
and
too
I thought
much.
you were tripping on acid because you look so fucked up.
Yeah, man. I was having so much fun. The greatest show ever
The
invented.
Indian came out, dog.
Yeah, the Indian came out in full force, man. I scalped a couple motherfuckers too.
Hey. For those that don't know, that's what Joey Diaz always said about Eddie Bravo. Give him a couple of drinks and that Indian comes out. Because apparently, according to Joey Diaz, Indians and Mexicans are related. It's all the same bloodline, dog.
And if I drink too much, like there's a lot of people that have Indians inside of them that come out. If the Indian comes out, odds are I'm gonna forget 95% of the night.
I've been in some situations with Eddie where I had to like hold his fucking hand and walk him home.
What about Germany?
Germany, well, there's a couple different ones. How about England when I had to wake you up? We were banging on the fucking door, banging on his door, man. I had security come out because I thought he might be dead.
We're in England for the UFC.
Yeah, we were in for the UFC. It's time to take the flight, and I always say, hey, man, we got a flight in like an hour. You're cool? You're going to pass? Yeah, man, fucking
because we try to stay up all night.
We try to stay up all night so we could sleep on the plane. So it's in the morning, and we got to go. The car's waiting for us. I'm like, shit, we got to get to that airport early. It's an international flight. We got passports and shit. Bang, 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 knock on the door. No Eddie. Bang, 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 knock on the door. No Eddie. Call a cell phone. No Eddie. Go downstairs, have the phone, the desk call his room. No answer. So I said, listen, I'm worried about my friend's safety. He was intoxicated last night. I want to make sure that he's okay. Can you open the door? They open the door. This motherfucker is sleeping with the lights on. The lights were on, and he's on the bed, completely unconscious with his fucking cowboy boots on. Just sleeping there. And I go, Eddie! And then you open up your eyes. You go, what's up, dude? It's just like that simple. That's simple. It's me and two security dudes, and we're screaming, Eddie! And you just pop your head up. What's up, dude? You were blasted.
Like
man. Nothing, man. You were blasted. I had to help you stuff your shit. I remember you had a shoe in your backpack, and you're like, why do I have a shoe in my backpack? Yeah.
That's the Indian right there.
Yeah, he's gone right there. Oh, my God. Your brain is swimming in a world of soup.
I was fucking
alcohol
hammered.
Soup.
I was hammered, dude.
Oh, my God. Look at you. Look at that face. That's the
What about
Texas?
The best story is Germany, man. It was so fucked up that you had to write a blog about it. Remember?
Germany was so crazy. Yeah, Texas too. Well, here's Germany. In Germany, it was like I don't know, maybe like we had to leave at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, I talked to Eddie on the phone. I go, dude, what are you doing, man? I go, we got to leave in like 2 hours. I'm gonna power through. I go, you're gonna power through. I go, are you still awake? Yeah, dude, don't worry about it.
I was about partying.
Yeah, he was still out partying. So I go downstairs, I eat breakfast, and I say, all right, let me go get Eddie. I can't get him. He's not in his room. He's not answering his phone. Same thing. I have them open up his door. He's not in his room. He's gone. So I'm like, shit, where the fuck could he be? So then I go downstairs and I look around and I keep calling his phone. He's not answering. And finally I say to the guy that's taking care of the cars, I said, you got a car for Joe Rogan? And the guy says, oh, yeah, he left. And I go, what? And he goes, he left. I go, no, I'm Joe Rogan. You guys have a car for me. He goes, oh, my God, somebody already said they were Joe Rogan and they left. I go, who the fuck? What did he look like? He goes, I had long hair and tattoos. I'm like, motherfucker. Eddie told them that he was me. He's in his car, blacked out, drunk, blacked out. It is already an hour on the road.
Let me take it from here now. Now, what happened was I had partied all night, man. Me and Jason Jason McNabb, he was just getting me hammered all night. And I don't remember, the last thing I remember was taking shots at some club. It was the last thing. And then fast forward to me waking up in the back of this car with my backpack and my suitcase, like in the back of this car, and Joe Rogan is calling me. So I wake up, it's bright. I'm like, how the fuck did I get back here? Joe's calling me, and I answered. I'm like, Joe? He goes, you fucking took my car. I hung up the phone. I asked the driver, I'm like, where are we going? He's like, dude, we're on the Autobahn, dude. He's flying down the Autobahn. He looks back. He's like, we're going to the airport. I'm like, oh, shit. How the fuck did this happen? So I'm trying to remember what the fuck happened. I open up my my backpack, and I always put my extra shoes in my suitcase. Always, I pack a certain way all the time. There's one shoe in my backpack, and I always keep my computer in my backpack. And I'm like, where's my computer? My computer is in my suitcase. So in a drunken stupor, I must have just grabbed everything, put shit in like a zombie, pack shit up like a fucking idiot. And I wake up in the back of this car, and then Joe kept calling, and I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I needed time to think. So I finally answered. I go, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know how this happened. I have no idea how I ended up in the back of this car. We get, and he ended up getting a cab. And at the airport, Joe was so mad at me. He wouldn't talk to me. He was so pissed off.
It was just so ridiculous. It was the second time in a row we went traveling internationally. The second time I had to babysit him. It was from England to this. It was just like, Jesus, man.
He had to write a blog about it.
Yeah, I had. You're the first guy that I ever met where I used to say, people would say, "Oh man, I black out when I get drunk." I'm like, "Shut up, bitch. You ain't blacking out. You're just pretending you're blacking out because it makes it convenient." I didn't. Well, I've seen the Indian come out, man. Like I said, I never used to think that it was real. I used to think that people would say that they black out drunk, and like, come on, man. But I've looked into Eddie's eyes, and I see gerbils. I see gerbil eyes. Like, you ever look at a gerbil's eyes? They're just black and dark, and you don't know what's going on there. Right. Mostly nothing.
I didn't even know Eddie was Mexican. I thought he was fucking with me for like the first 2 years, because at the Comedy Store, you were like, I'm half Mexican. I'm like, no, you not.
I'm full Mexican.
Or you said something like that to me.
Well, he used to say he was half.
Yeah, you said something else.
Half Japanese and half Eskimo was a famous one.
Yeah, you said half Japanese, half Mexican or something.
Yeah, I used to say that when I was a teenager, just because I was an idiot, and I wanted to see who would believe it. And I'm like, wow, people believe anything.
Dude, you used to do that with a lot of things. You used to tell people crazy stories and see how far you could go with it.
Man, it still happens. I mean, the whole.
Why do you get into doing that?
Man,
do you have a hard time not doing that?
If you look at Quatuf, and then you look at what we did on the Joe Show, like with the 10-foot screws,
the band, yeah.
10-foot screws.
Let me tell people if you don't know. Let me tell you what we did. We were in Denver, and I was doing stand-up, and Eddie and Tate and Brian and Duncan, we were all hanging out, and we were walking, and we went through this little shopping area. What is it? The 6th Street Mall? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Whatever the mall is? Whatever street it is? Anyway, we're going to this downtown shopping area, and we see a wig store.
2005.
2005, was it? And just as a goof, we decided to go in this wig store. And then, first of all, we were high as fuck. And somewhere in this wig store, we came up with the idea of having a fake band, and that you guys were all going to wear these wigs. So everyone bought wigs. Tate had this crazy afro wig, and you had this crazy wig, and everyone decided that we were going to play a band called 10-Foot Screws. And we even announced the band like as having an after party in town. So people thought that it was like a real band. And Eddie goes on stage. I get off stage. The show's over. Eddie goes on stage with his fucking wig on and sunglasses. We have video of it still, right?
Yeah, there was a whole show. Yeah, the Joe Show episode 7. Is that on YouTube?
Which episode is it?
7.
7? Yeah.
How do people find that one?
Just type in Joe Show 7. But it's actually all the episodes were on your website, but since you moved the servers now, everything's kind of weird.
They were probably getting too much bandwidth.
Well, the premise of it was Joe wanted to put together a reality show based on him going to all these clubs across the nation and his posse. And me, Tate, Brian, Duncan, Ari, even Larry back then. We were all...
Larry's our producer. What do you think?
Yeah. We were all in this...
He was the producer.
That's what Joe Show was. It was an actual reality show.
The origin of the word powerful. When you hear me say powerful, it's all because there's one dude, our friend Larry.
Yeah. So the show was called The Joe Show. You had it on your website. We did about 11 or 12 episodes or something. And episode 7, we were in Denver. We were trying to come up with a premise. And then it was all about... We just formed a band. So Joe's on stage, and the way we sold it was Duncan would get on stage and would say, "Who's going to the 10-Foot Screws show tonight?" That's what we're called, 10-Foot Screws, and that was Brian's idea. And so we wanted to. So Duncan was getting everybody in the audience used to the fact that we got 10-foot screws backstage, and they're playing a big show at the
Holodome.
The
Holodome next to the El Pollo
Loco.
Yeah, it's on 6th Street in El Pollo Loco. So people were like, "Oh shit, there's a concert tonight. I didn't know about this. 10-foot screws, are they big?" So then was Ari there too, or who else? Ari wasn't there.
Ari wasn't there. For
so
this.
Duncan was selling it. Like he was like the host, and he was selling it. We got 10-foot screws tomorrow. We're gonna give away some tickets. So I got a stack of half off drinks on Tuesday nights. I got 2 stacks of them. And Duncan introduced me. I was the lead singer. I was the total douchebag lead singer. I was like just basically playing the singer of Oasis, but backstage. So I got up on stage and said, "Who wants these tickets to the show tomorrow?" Backstage. They were going nuts. So like Paul Stanley, I divided the crowd to one side. And I said, just like Paul Stanley, I go, "Okay, this side, let me hear the noise." I go, 1, 2, let me hear the noise. They went, "Ah!" And then I stopped them. And I go, "This side." It was just a total Paul Stanley 1985 ripoff. Most bands do
Dude,
it.
find that and cue it up. Just that part of it, because it was so ridiculous.
When I threw those tickets into the audience, dudes were flying headfirst over tables. They were scrambling, only to find that there were Tuesday night half-off drinks.
And you're some crazy man wearing a wig for a band that doesn't exist.
Yeah, so when the concert let out, people had to walk by backstage. It was the club was set up weird, where they were walking out next to backstage. So we had the door open, and dudes were walking by going, "Where's that band?" So we grabbed one dude, and we pulled in. We pulled in maybe 3 dudes, and we pulled them, closed the door. Now they're backstage with 10-foot screws. And me and Tate are just total douchebags. We're total douchebags.
Do you remember those fucking questions you guys? Now that I'm thinking about it,
it was a great
show. The guy who got down on his knees.
Yes.
You remember that?
He was just down to do whatever to hang out with the band. He thought we were a real band, so we got him to do crazy shit. He just wanted to hang out with the band. So we go, "We're gonna have to get on your knees. Okay, you're gonna have to pray for us. Pray with us." Like, bands sometimes pray, before they go out.
"Thank you, Jesus," and he would repeat, "Thank you, Jesus," and you said, "For this dick I'm about to suck," and then he jumped up and ran away. You remember?
And then he's like 6'4". He was so intimidating. The guy didn't want to like fire back.
Right.
Because Tate's sitting there looking like a monster, He was scared. And then we got girls back there.
He probably thought that you were about to try to get him to suck your dick. Like, he really probably thought that. I mean, you think about it. You're some fucking wacko living in Colorado, some dude who's willing to go to some green room for some band that he doesn't even know, never heard of before, some band that doesn't even exist. He's on his knees praying back and forth with you. In his head, when you said that, "For this dick I'm about to suck," he probably thought, "Oh, I fucked up. I done fucked up.
I'll do it, but damn, I'm not gonna like it." And then, that was a great episode too. And then the other good episode was when we were in Boston. Remember in Boston, and Ari and Duncan, they both sold to the audience. They opened up and they said, backstage we're auditioning for the Joe Rogan live story that they're going to film. And we're looking for guys to play Joe Rogan. We want authentic guys from Boston. So the guys in the audience are thinking, "Oh shit, they're auditioning to play Joe Rogan. I think I could do it. You could do it, honey. You could do it." So people lined up, and we had a fake audition. Like, I'm this badass.
You probably shouldn't talk about this, because I think what you did was illegal.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what you did is totally illegal.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this didn't really happen. We denied this.
Oh yeah. This is all in another dimension.
We deny this. We deny this.
In a parallel universe.
Eddie Bravo does not seek to get sued at this moment in time. This is all fiction.
Duncan was the director.
Never happened.
Killed it.
It never happened. This didn't take place. You can't be saying this.
For sure.
Hello.
Much respect to the Korean Zombie. Eddie Bravo is wearing a Korean Zombie shirt. And what this means for you non-MMA people, there's a guy named Chan Sung Jung, they call him the Korean Zombie. That's his nickname. And this weekend on Saturday night at the UFC against Leonard Garcia, he pulled off the first twister ever in the UFC. And the significance, of course, is that Eddie Bravo, our guest today, actually invented the twister.
No, I didn't invent it.
Well, you invented the setup.
Move.
The setup.
The setups, yes. The finishing move, no. That's an old wrestling move.
But people used to finish people with it in wrestling?
You can.
But did they do it your way with the S grip on the forehead? I thought that was all like your innovation to turn into a submission.
No. People were cranking. I don't know if they were cranking it exactly the way I crank it, but I'm pretty sure.
Had you seen other people get submitted with it before you ever started doing it?
We would like in high school, I wrestled a couple years, and I wrestled in Santa Ana High. And in ninth grade, a guy named Jesse Barrios and another guy, his buddy is the one who showed me. I can't remember his name. I couldn't even remember it for my book, but Jesse Barrios is his friend. Santa Ana High School, 1985. If anybody out there is from that, there's Jesse Barrios' friend, the other leg rider on that wrestling team. Fuck, I don't know what his name is. Anyways, he showed it to me. And both of those, and in wrestling, leg riding is for weak people. And all that means is we're so weak, we need to use our legs a lot more than the big, strong dudes who are wrestling and hitting the weights and had big chests and shoulders. Those guys really didn't rely on their legs as much as the weak guys like me. I would skip weightlifting practice. I was in the back where I was hiding. I was weak even back then. I was a terrible athlete. I've never been a great athlete. So I had to rely on using my legs. And I thought, they came to me. Jesse came to me and I go, dude, you'll be perfect for this, because they knew I'd just get smashed if I try to go heads up with people. So it's a pinning move that I learned in wrestling, and I got pretty good at it. That was my shit. Even in high school, that was the thing I always tried. I got some cool ass stories that maybe one day I'll talk about them, but I have some cool wrestling stories. But anyways, I sucked at wrestling. I only had one takedown in 2 fucking years. I sucked. So I just totally relied on leg riding and using it's actually called the guillotine. It's actually not called the twister. It's called the guillotine. But when I started doing it in jiu-jitsu, Higgin Machado and Jean-Jacques Machado would just call it the twister because the guillotine already existed. There's a lot of people out there that think that I took this wrestling move and I said, I'm going to try to fool the world and change the name and say I invented it. There's thousands of people that think that. It's hilarious. In my books from day one, it was
okay,
the guillotine.
But hold on a second. You're being a little bit modest because you invented all these setups and turned it into a very high percentage finish.
Yes,
you invented a lot of setups from a lot of different places.
Yes.
Where it became, none of that stuff existed.
But this is the transition. So I ended up quitting wrestling. The work ethic you need to be a good wrestler is something that is just not in my body chemistry. I was not made to work really hard physically. I hated work, regular jobs. I knew that's why it was all about rock stardom or playing football. I just wanted to be like a famous dude who just played for a living and got paid and was fucking adored by everybody. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to work. I hated work.
Of course. Who doesn't want that?
Oh my God. Work actually killed me inside. So it drove my artistic side.